Welcome to my Expat Stories. This one's going to make you question every investment opportunity you've ever heard about. This comes from Robert. Everyone calls him Bob, 58 years old, retired insurance executive from Chicago. He went to Medellin looking for business opportunities and met a woman who spoke his language. Not Spanish. Business. She had ideas. He had capital. They were going to build something together. Multiple revenue streams, smart investments. He lost $220,000 in 18 months, and he'll tell you himself, he thought he was too smart to get scammed. Hit subscribe and like before you hear how this happened. Bob spent his career spotting fraud, and he still missed every sign. Here's his story. My name's Robert, but everyone calls me Bob. I worked in insurance for 32 years. Started as an agent in my 20s. Cold calling businesses, building a book. Worked my way up to regional director by the time I was 45. Managed a team of 60 agents across Illinois and Indiana. Made good money, real good money. By the time I retired, at 56 I had close to $400,000 in savings and investments. Another $150,000 in my 401k. I owned my condo in Chicago, outright. 2 bedrooms overlooking the river. Paid $300,000 for it in 2008. Worth $550,000 now. No debt, no kids. Divorced 15 years ago. My ex remarried. We're cordial. Christmas cards, that's it. I was set. Financially secure. Ready for the next chapter. I'm not like those other guys. I need to say that up front because I know what you're thinking. Another idiot American goes to Colombia and gets played by a pretty girl. That's not what this is. I wasn't chasing some 20-year-old bar girl. I wasn't looking for a trophy wife. I wasn't lonely or desperate or stupid. I was looking for opportunity. Real business opportunity, the kind you can't find in the States anymore, where everything's regulated to death and taxed into oblivion. I'd been following the digital nomad movement for years, watching guys younger than me pack up and move to Bali or Chiang Mai or Medellin, running online businesses, paying next to nothing in taxes, living in penthouses for what a studio costs in Chicago. I thought, why not me? I've got the capital, I've got the time, I've got 30 years of business experience. Colombia kept coming up in my research, specifically Medellin. Forbes called it one of the most innovative cities in the world. Real estate was booming. Tourism was exploding. The exchange rate was favourable. Infrastructure was modern. And the cost of doing business was a fraction of what it would be back home. I spent 6 months researching. I'm not impulsive. I read books, watched YouTube channels, joined Facebook groups for expats and investors, studied tax laws, visa requirements, business regulations. I wasn't going in blind. I flew down in January 2023, booked a month in an Airbnb to test the waters. If I liked it, I'd stay longer, get a proper apartment, start looking at opportunities. The Airbnb was in El Poblado, 2 bedrooms, balcony overlooking the city. Building had a pool and a gym, $1,500 a month, still less than my mortgage had been in Chicago. For the first 3 weeks, I just explored. I wasn't drinking every night or hitting bars. I was working, analysing. I walked different neighbourhoods, checked out commercial districts, sat in restaurants and coffee shops, counted customers, watched foot traffic, took notes on my phone about what worked and what didn't. I noticed patterns. Tourists went to the same areas. Parque Lleras, Poblado, Manila. The metro was clean and efficient. Uber was cheap. The restaurant scene was exploding. Lots of new concepts. Lots of money flowing. I started thinking maybe there's something here, maybe I could build something. I met Isabella at Atom House. It's a co-working space in Poblado. 5 stories, cafes on every floor, meeting rooms, fast Wi-Fi, full of digital nomads. And local entrepreneurs. I'd been going there most mornings. Liked the energy. Productive atmosphere. She was sitting at a table near the window. Laptop open, taking a video call in English. I wasn't eavesdropping, but I could hear her. She was discussing revenue projections with someone, market positioning, customer acquisition costs. She knew the terminology, spoke confidently. I was impressed. When she finished her call, I walked over, introduced myself, said I couldn't help but notice she was discussing business strategy, asked what kind of work she did. She smiled, said she ran a consulting business, helped foreign investors navigate Colombian business regulations and market entry strategies. We talked for maybe 30 minutes that first time. She asked what brought me to Medellin. I I told her I was exploring investment opportunities, looking to start something. She said most foreigners who come here either party themselves to death or jump into bad deals because they don't understand the market. What's needed, she said, is someone with capital and business sense partnering with someone who knows the local landscape. I agreed completely. That's exactly what I'd been thinking. She gave me her card, professional, LinkedIn QR code. Her name was Isabella Restrepo. Said if I was serious about exploring opportunities, we should meet again. She had some ideas she'd been developing. We met for coffee 2 days later at a place she suggested. She showed up with a leather portfolio. Inside were printed documents, market research, demographic breakdowns, photos of properties with addresses, spreadsheets with financial projections. She'd done her homework. This wasn't amateur hour. She told me about herself. She'd worked for a multinational consulting firm in Bogota for 6 years, got her MBA there, moved to Medellin 3 years ago, started her own consulting practice, helping foreign investors with market entry. She'd worked on a dozen projects, restaurants, hostels, real estate. She knew the landscape. She walked me through 3 opportunities she'd identified, all in high-traffic areas, all with solid fundamentals. First was a bar, small space on a side street off Parque Lleras. Current owner was an older Colombian guy who wanted to retire. Asking price was 250 million pesos, about $65,000 at the exchange rate. She'd run the numbers. The location got heavy foot traffic Thursday through Saturday. Average check was 30,000 pesos, about $8. With proper management and marketing, she estimated we could do 400 customers a weekend, about $320 a night. Times 3 nights, almost $1,000 a weekend, $4,000 a month gross. Profit margins on alcohol are 60 to 70%. We'd be looking at $2,400 a month profit, split 50-50, $1,200 each. Payback period, about 4.5 years. Then pure profit. I listened carefully, asked about overhead. She had it broken down. Rent, staff, licenses, utilities, insurance, inventory costs, shrinkage, marketing. She'd thought of everything. The numbers made sense. Second opportunity was a coffee shop. Premium location near Parque Lleras. High foot traffic. Colombians are obsessed with good coffee. Tourists want the authentic experience. The space was available. Rent was 2 million pesos a month, about $500. Build out would cost maybe 25,000. Equipment another 20. Furniture, signage, initial inventory. Total investment 50 grand. She estimated gross revenue of 6,000 a month once established. Margins on coffee and pastries are huge. 40 to 50% after costs. That's 2,400 profit. Split it. 1,200 each. Payback in about 3.5 years. Third was short-term rental apartments. She said this is where the real money is. Buy units in up-and-coming neighbourhoods. Laureles, Estadio, places where prices haven't exploded yet but will. Furnish them nicely. List on Airbnb. Occupancy rates in Medellin were over 80% year-round. A 2-bedroom in Laureles could rent for $80 a night. That's $2,400 a month at 80% occupancy. Minus cleaning and management fees, you're looking at $1,800 profit per unit. Buy 3 units, that's $5,400 a month. ROI would be insane compared to real estate in the States. I told her I'd think about it. She said, of course. Take your time. Do your due diligence. That's what I like about you, Bob. You're careful. You're smart. Most Americans just jump at the first shiny thing. You're different. I spent the next 2 weeks analysing her proposals. I built my own spreadsheets, ran different scenarios, conservative estimates, aggressive estimates, stress-tested the numbers. The bar opportunity looks solid. Tourist area. Existing customer base. Good bones. Just needed better management. I asked Isabella if she could set up meetings with the current bar owner. She did. We met at the bar on a Tuesday afternoon. Quiet. Empty. The owner was maybe 60. Spoke some English. He'd owned the place 8 years. Said it used to be great, but he was tired. Wanted to spend time with his grandkids. Didn't have the energy anymore. He showed me the books. Revenue, expenses, profit and loss statements for the past 3 years. The numbers matched what Isabella had told me. Maybe a bit conservative even. The place was making money. Just not a lot, because it wasn't being run properly. I could see the potential. Better concept. Better marketing. social media presence, drink specials, ladies' nights, expat meetups. This could be a goldmine. I told Isabella I was interested. She said she thought I would be, said we should move quickly. The owner had another buyer interested, a local guy. We needed to make a decision. We met with her lawyer, Colombian guy, office in Poblado, professional, spoke perfect English. He explained the structure. We'd set up an SAS, that's like an LLC. Isabella and I would be 50-50 partners. I'd provide capital. She'd handle operations. The lawyer drew up documents, partnership agreement, operating procedures, profit distribution, IP protection, buy-sell clauses. It all looked legitimate, professional. He answered every question I had, explained Colombian business law, tax implications, repatriation rules. I felt confident. This wasn't some handshake deal. This was a proper legal structure. I signed the documents, wired $65,000 for the purchase, another $15,000 for renovations and initial inventory. $80,000 total. We closed in March. I had the keys to a bar in Medellin. I felt like a king. Isabella got to work immediately, hired a contractor for renovations. New paint, dark grey walls, Edison bulb lighting, industrial vibe, new furniture, better sound system. She hired a Colombian DJ she knew, created an Instagram account, posted renovation updates, built anticipation. She hired staff, bartenders, security, cleaners, all locals. She said local staff is important. They bring their friends, their networks. That's how you build a customer base. The bar opened in mid-April. Grand opening party. 2-for-1 drinks the first hour. Free appetizers. She'd invited every expat she knew. Posted in Facebook groups. The place was packed. 100 people easy. I stood at the bar watching, thinking this is it. This is what I came to Colombia for. The first month was strong. Busy weekends. Decent traffic. Wednesday through Saturday. Isabella sent me weekly reports, professional breakdowns, revenue, expenses, inventory costs, staff wages, profit margin. Week 1 we made $800 profit. Week 2 was $1,000. Week 3 dropped to $600. Week 4 was back to $900. I was pleased. Not huge numbers, but we were trending up, building momentum. She said month 1 is always soft. People are testing us. Word of mouth takes time. Month 2 will be better. Month 2 was better. We averaged $1,000 a week profit. $4,000 for the month. Split it. $2,000 each. I'd made my first $2,000 as a bar owner in Colombia. Felt good. But month 3, the numbers started looking strange. Revenue was still decent, but expenses were climbing. Staff costs were higher than projected. Isabella said we had to hire extra security after some incidents. Inventory costs were up. She said suppliers raised prices, permits and licenses, maintenance, cleaning, marketing. The profit margin kept shrinking. I asked her about it. She said it's normal for the first 6 months. Lots of unexpected costs when you're building a business. The important thing is we're building brand recognition, customer loyalty. The profit will come. I wanted to believe her. I'd put $80,000 into this. I needed it to work. Around month 4, she came to me with a coffee shop opportunity. Again, said the space was still available, but another investor was sniffing around. If we wanted it, we needed to move fast. And she'd refined her projections. With both the bar and coffee shop, we'd have diversified income streams. If one's slow, the other picks up slack. Lower risk, higher upside. I hesitated. The bar wasn't as profitable as we'd projected. She said that's exactly why we should expand. The bar is seasonal. Weekends are great, but weekdays are slow. Coffee shops are the opposite. Weekday mornings are gold. Professionals getting their caffeine before work. Digital nomads camping out all day, buying coffee and pastries. This would actually help support the bar while it finds its footing. Her logic made sense. I'd learned in insurance that diversification reduces risk. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And coffee shops have better margins than bars. Lower overhead, higher volume, faster turnover. I agreed, $50,000 investment, $25,000 for lease deposit and build out, $25,000 for equipment and initial inventory. I wired the money in June. We signed papers. She got to work. The coffee shop build out took 2 months. She sent me photos every few days, progress updates. The space looked great. White subway tile, wood counters, Espresso machine, glass pastry case, succulents on every table. Very Instagrammable. It opened in August. Soft opening. No big party. Just word of mouth. She said coffee shops need to build slowly. Regulars, people who come back every day. That's the business model. The first month was slow. Made maybe 800 profit total. 400 each. She said it takes time. People need to discover us, try us, become regulars. Month 2 was better. 1,200 profit. 600 each. Month 3 was 2,000. 1,000 each. I started feeling better. Combined with the bar, we were making decent money now. Not life-changing, but respectable. And it was only going to grow. That's when Isabella brought up the apartment idea again. She said now's the time. Real estate in Medellin is still undervalued, but prices are rising fast. Laureles especially. In 2 years, those apartments will be worth 50% more than we paid. We buy now. Furnish them. List on Airbnb. They pay for themselves through rental income. Then in 2 years, we sell for a huge gain. It's not just monthly profit. It's equity appreciation. She'd found 3 units. All in the same building in Laureles. 2 bedrooms each. Owner was selling them as a package. 300 million pesos total. About $75,000. Plus another 15 for furniture and setup. 90,000 all in. But we'd own 3 income-producing assets. I was nervous. I'd already invested 130,000. This would be 220. More than half my liquid savings. But the logic was sound. Real estate is the safest investment. Especially in a growing market. An Airbnb income would cover the costs while the properties appreciated. I told her I'd think about it. She said the owner needed an answer by the end of the week. Another buyer was interested. We needed to move fast. I thought about it for 3 days. Ran numbers. Looked at comparable Airbnb listings in Laureles. Checked appreciation rates. Everything supported her projections. I called her on Thursday. Said let's do it. We closed in October. I wired $90,000. We owned 3 apartments in Laureles. Isabella hired someone to furnish them. Modern, clean, grey couches, white linens, kitchen supplies. Everything a tourist would need. They went live on Airbnb in November. The first bookings came in immediately. She sent me screenshots. 5 nights here, 3 nights there, week-long bookings. The occupancy rate was strong. By December, I felt like I'd actually done it. I'd built a small business empire in Colombia. A bar, a coffee shop, 3 rental properties, multiple revenue, streams, diversified portfolio. This is what smart investing looks like. That's what I thought anyway. January came. Isabella said she needed to visit family in Cali for a few weeks. Her mother was sick. She'd keep managing everything remotely, send reports, stay on top of things. I said, of course, take the time you need. She left. The reports stopped coming. I texted her asking for updates. She'd respond days later. Sorry. Bad reception. Mum's worse than we thought. I'll send numbers soon. Week 2 I got nervous. Logged into the business bank account she'd set up for the bar, the one we both had access to. Balance was 14,000 pesos, about $3. It should have been millions. Where was the revenue? I called her. No answer. Texted. Nothing for 2 days. Finally she responded. Said there was an issue with the bank. Technical problem. She was working on it. Don't worry, I did worry. I called the lawyer, the one who'd set up our partnership. Number was disconnected. I looked up his office address, went there, empty, no sign, no name on the door, just an empty office space with a for lease sign. I went to the bar, walked in on a Tuesday afternoon. There were customers, music playing, bartender I didn't recognise. I asked where Isabella was. He shrugged. Said he didn't know anyone by that name. I said, I'm the owner. He laughed. Said the owner's name is Carlos, been the owner for 2 years. I showed him the documents on my phone. Partnership agreement. He looked confused, said I should talk to Carlos, gave me a number. I called. Carlos answered. I explained who I was. He said he'd never heard of me, never heard of Isabella. He's owned the bar for 6 years. Never sold it to anyone. I felt my stomach drop. I went to the coffee shop. Same thing. Different staff. Different manager. No one knew Isabella. No one knew me. They said the owner was a local businessman named Mauricio. I went to the apartment building in Laureles. Asked the front desk about the 3 units. They checked. Said those units were owned by different people. None named Isabella Restrepo. None with my name on any documents. I went back to my apartment, pulled up every document she'd given me. The partnership agreements, the purchase contracts, the business registrations. I started Googling the registration numbers. Nothing came up. Fake. All of it. I found the photos she'd sent me of the coffee shop build-out. Reverse image searched them. Stock photos. Downloaded from a Colombian interior design website. The bar renovation photos. Also fake. Different bar entirely. In Bogota, the Airbnb listings she'd showed me. I found them, but they weren't ours. They were existing listings she'd screenshot and sent to me. Made it look like our apartments. They weren't. I'd wired $220,000 over 10 months to bank accounts she controlled. For businesses that either didn't exist or weren't mine. For apartments I didn't own. For partnerships that were never real. I went to the police, brought every document, every wire transfer receipt, every text message. They listened, took notes, asked if I had proof the businesses were supposed to be mine. I showed them the partnership agreements. They said these look fake. The registration numbers don't match our database. I asked what I could do. They said file a report. We'll investigate. I never heard back. I contacted my bank in the US, explained what happened, asked if they could reverse the wire transfers. They said no. Transfers were authorized by me, sent to legitimate Colombian bank accounts. Once the money's received and withdrawn, there's no way to recover it. I hired a different lawyer, a real one this time, paid him $2,000 to investigate. He came back 2 weeks later, said Isabella Restrepo isn't a real person. At least not the one I knew. The address on her business card. Fake. The consulting company. Doesn't exist, the MBA. No record. He said this is a sophisticated scam. Very well planned. You're not the first, you won't be the last. I asked if there's any way to find her. He said no. She's gone. Probably using a different name in a different city. Running the same con on someone else. I'm back in Chicago now. Living in the same condo I left. I have about $160,000 left. Still comfortable. Still secure. But $220,000 is gone. 10 years of savings. 18 months of being played. I told my friends I tried starting a business in Colombia, but it didn't work out. Market conditions. Bad timing. I didn't tell them the truth. Too embarrassing. Too stupid. I thought I was different. I thought I was smarter than those other guys. The ones chasing bar girls. The ones building houses for women they barely know. I had spreadsheets. I had lawyers. I had professional partnerships and legal documents. None of it mattered. It was all fake, and I was too arrogant to see it. Too convinced that because I'd built a successful career in insurance, I couldn't be conned. The worst part isn't the money. It's knowing I ignored red flags. The lawyer's office I never visited until it was too late. The businesses I never personally verified ownership of. The bank accounts I gave her control over. The monthly reports that started strong then got vague. I ignored them all because I wanted to believe. Wanted to believe I'd found a smart investment. A real partnership. Something legitimate. Isabella spoke my language. She knew exactly what buttons to push. Professional documents. Market research. Profit projections. Everything that would make a businessman feel comfortable. Feel smart. Feel like he was making a calculated decision. She played me perfectly. And I let her, because I thought I was too smart to get scammed. I wasn't. That's Bob's story. This is my Expat Stories. Another one coming soon.